What is going on, crypto peeps? So I was just in the middle of creating this video and I look at my phone and it starts going apeshit with notifications from a crypto news site. Apparently Coinbase decided to list 100 new useless coins. You'll see here Civic, District0x, Decentraland, LOOM network. It decided to list those coins on Coinbase as well as GDAX. Now, why did they do this? Well, obviously Coinbase cannot survive on, trading a couple of coins only. And I think the majority of the buyers who would buy Bitcoin with such high fees, the high fees that they charge, right? Because Coinbase is seen as an entry-level exchange where new traders can dip their feet in. Is that the right expression? Dip their toes in? Yeah, I guess that's the right expression. But yeah, where they can get their first taste of this crack that we call crypto trading. But it can't survive long term without operating like an exchange, because obviously it wants people to pay fees in trading fees as much as possible, right? And there isn't enough of a buyer pool anymore that's willing to buy Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum at such high fees. I think crypto traders have become more sophisticated, and then the newbies, they either bounced or they became more knowledgeable over time and learned how to avoid paying high fees for their crypto. So Coinbase needs to operate like an exchange, so it does need to add a ton of new coins in order for it to compete with Binance or Bitfinex or any of these. These exchanges make a ton of money regardless of whether the market is up or down, because they just keep collecting fees. It's like running a poker game. You don't really have an interest in who wins or loses, because no matter who wins or loses, you're collecting a rake off of each pot, right? So anyway, so it decided to do that, and the effect that it had on the market, it was short-lived. You'll see this candle here. We're on the 4-hour chart. If I switch to the 1 hour, you'll probably see it even more clearly. But here is the candle on Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. You'll see that, we went from the mid 3200s to now we're currently at 3450, but we went as high as 3550. And you'll see that the major roadblock that Bitcoin saw was this support level that turned into a resistance level, right? We see a support resistance flip, where this was the support level for a while, really going all the way back to mid-November. And after it finally broke that, now we are seeing this act as resistance. So Bitcoin couldn't get back into this resistance level or even back into this sideways channel that we see here, regardless of how many shit coins Coinbase, I don't like that term, regardless of how many useless coins Coinbase decided to add. Now, if they added XRP, XLM, and Cardano, I think we would have seen a respectable rally. Either way, this rally is short-lived, and I did manage to get a short at around 3,500. To be exact, it was at 3,520 for 5X. I should probably close that right now while I'm doing this video, because we're at 3420. So I'm probably up a good amount. If you want access to the trade alerts, including shorts and longs, link is in the description. Now, in terms of swing trades, there isn't really much going on besides these leverage plays that I'm playing on BitMEX, right? You do see a few coins holding up really well. QKC trading in the sideways channel, testing support and resistance multiple times. There might be a good swing opportunity here. But other than that, I mean, it's either you're accumulating for the long term. You look at XRP here, broke the sideways channel, and it flirted with being under 30 cents today in US dollar value. So yeah, I mean, you're either buying for the long term, or there are a few coins like QKC, not many out there, that have sustained this crash really well. Or you're playing, leverage plays on BitMEX, or doing, a combination of either. You don't have to stick to one strategy. It really depends on your risk tolerance, your time, etc. Looking at CoinMarketCap, we're now at 110 bill, up a couple of bill or so because of that rally we saw. And you see here in US dollar value, if you look at the 1 hour change, there's just a bunch of green, anywhere between 5 and 10% really on most of these coins. Ethereum seeing a nice healthy rally. This was probably due to also a short squeeze effect on Ethereum, because shorts were so high. But Ethereum went from a low of 81 to around 95 bucks. Now it's currently at 94 and change. So respectable rally for ETH. But I mean, I think this is short-lived. I mean, when you see actual coins being listed on Coinbase, the coin itself will see a short-lived rally. So here we're just talking about the residual effects that those coins have on other coins. So I do think that this rally will be short-lived. I mean, we've been beaten down so much. The market has been beaten down so much that, at some point you do have to see a rally just to break the monotony of the downtrend. And that's what we're seeing, right? And any small news item, positive news item can do that in the short term. Now, the crypto market is not the only market that is seeing volatility, right? The global markets are taking a dump relatively, right? I mean, the losses aren't as bad as the crypto market, that's for sure. But the Dow continues to fall. And, because we are in such a volatile time, negative news as well as positive news can have large swings or effects in the market, right? So a lot of you probably have heard about this, but Canada arrested Huawei's global chief financial officer in Vancouver. Huawei is a huge Chinese tech company. And just from this arrest, there were arising concerns about the trade relations between the U.S. and China. And because of that, the Dow fell another 550 points. Here you will see the indices, the money market indices for today. S&P 500 is down 2%, Dow is down 2%. And there's actually a really good trade setup on the S&P. Here is the SPY, which is an ETF based on the S&P. And you'll see that we're trading within this sideways channel, right? And you'll see a triple top as well as a triple bottom, just meaning that, we're hitting support and resistance pretty consistently. So this is actually a sweet setup if you're into trading the money markets. I've said this before, but I use TD Ameritrade to trade. I'm not paid by them to say that. If you want an invite to TD Ameritrade where your first 300 trades are free, hit me up on the Discord, give me your email and your name, and I'll send that to you. But I'm considering opening a section on the Discord for money market trades as well as crypto, only because many people have shown interest in that, and I'm getting a lot of questions regarding those as well. And it's good to diversify your money into something that's not as volatile as crypto. But yes, this is a really sweet trade setup on the SPY. Obviously, you can buy once we hit support again, expecting it to continue this pattern. And you could set a tight stop limit here, just as you would in crypto. All right. And I just want to close this video by looking at a longer term view of Bitcoin. And here's what I think is going to happen just based on what is happening now. You'll see here this yellow line right here is the 200-week EMA. This is the 1 week chart for Bitcoin going all the way back to 2011. We comfortably went below that without even seeing any sort of support on the weekly at the 200-week EMA. Now that is obviously not a good sign, right? You do see the 50, which is this red line, and the green is the 100. It looks like the 50 is curling into the green. And what I think will happen is, the price action will continue downward until we see a death cross at least between the 50 and the 100, kind of how we saw in this last bear market between 2014 and 2015. So you'll see here the death cross that happened, and that is right around the time that Bitcoin started its rally again. Now, I think that will be replicated here, or at least come close to it. Another thing to note is I do think we have some more downside price action left, only because of what the volume is showing. So here is the volume during the last Bitcoin sell-off, right? The last bear market. You'll see how far above the volume moving average we were on these red bars, right? Indicating these large sell-offs that we see here. And we haven't even come close to that during this bear market. Now, we don't need to replicate, every bear market doesn't need to look like the previous one, right? But there are some characteristics that you do look out for just based on precedent. So I'm not saying that we're going to see exactly the same number of sell-off volume bars and these sell-off volume bars are going to be the same height as previous. But it's just an overall sentiment that I think we need to see more sell volume before we do see a major rally again and before we can declare this bear market over. I do have a target of about 2,800. Doesn't doesn't mean we'll get there. We can go lower, we can never get there, but that is based on the momentum, based on precedence. That is something that I'm using as a guide. Now, obviously, we don't dictate the markets dictate our behavior, right? So as long as you remain ready to react accordingly, that is the value of TA, right? It's so that you can use technical analysis as a guide in order to react accordingly and swiftly, not so you can predict that a certain coin or asset is going to be a certain price on a specific date. That is not TA's value. YouTube and Twitter has everybody fucked up, right? Like everyone is so into predictions. That is not the value of TA. Nobody is really trying to predict. Nobody serious is really trying to predict a certain price by a certain date. You can have, estimates of how low you think a certain bear market will drop to or where it looks like the bottom is. But, trying to predict a certain price on a certain date is really futile and it's counterproductive. It really doesn't add any value. Anyway, that is it for this video. Leave a thumbs up if you got anything positive out of this video. Leave all your comments and questions in the comment section. If you agree, if you disagree, if you have a question, etc. Sign up if you want access to the trade alerts or you need help with one-on-one coaching for technical analysis. That link is in the description. Stay safe out there. Peace.